I'm extremely scared and concerned for my mom. I'm currently under the covers of my bed frantically typing this on my phone because I'm too scared to get up and check on my mother. For the past 2 weeks, my mother was away on a business trip, and since I'm 18 and working, she allowed me to stay at the house alone to do some housekeeping. My mother and I live in a pretty big house in the middle of nowhere, Texas, so 2 weeks alone in the house gets pretty lonely. And we're new to the area as we just moved in a couple of months ago, so for the past 14 days I've been cooped up in our giant home alone and have been waiting for my mom to come home. So yesterday night when I heard a familiar jingle of her keys in the front door open, I was excited to go see her, and I got up from my bed and ran down the kitchen to ask her about the trip. And that's when I noticed my mother was just standing there at the kitchen counter not acknowledging me at all. She didn't say hi to me or tell me that she missed me. She didn't even look up at me. Now my mother grew up through the Vietnam War. She has lived through seeing people killed right in front of her, and she spent her teenage years hopping from refugee camp to refugee camp. Basically, my mother has seen the worst of the worst in humanity, and despite her difficult upbringing, my mother has always been extremely loving and talkative, and our relationship is extremely close. So I was confused about what could have shaken her up so bad that she didn't even acknowledge me. She simply returned home, placed her bags on the kitchen floor, and headed straight to her bedroom, and I didn't want to pry my mother about what happened on the trip, so I headed back to my room without a word to give her some time to herself. I was going to ask her about it the next day, and this morning I woke up to a FaceTime call from my mom. Now this was strange since my mom is the type of person to come upstairs to wish me a good morning all the time. I answered it regardless, and that's when my heart dropped. My mom was still at the airport. She said something along the lines of, "Sorry baby, I'm running a bit late since my flight is delayed, but I'll be home by dinner." Now if my mom was still at the airport, then who the heck came home last night? I just stared at my mom over FaceTime for a while until I finally answered, "Mama, if you're still at the airport, then who came home last night?" My mom's face dropped and she told me to hang up the call and hide under the covers. She sounded genuinely frightened, and I've never seen my mom like that for the past 18 years she raised me, so that obviously scared the crap out of me. I did as she said and hung up. Immediately after I hung up, my mom texted me, "If whoever's in the house asks you to leave your room, do not listen to them. Stay in your room. I'm calling your uncle." That's when I heard my fake mom from the bottom of the stairs say, "Con, I have breakfast ready. Come down, baby." I literally don't know what to do and I'm scared. I'm currently waiting for my uncle to arrive, but my uncle can be around 30 minutes or later. He didn't find any trace of anybody else except for me in the house. But since my mother's side of the family is superstitious, he definitely believes that there was something in the house that definitely was not human. I'm with my mom staying at my uncle's place for a while. My family called the temple and some sort of monks are going to the house to check it out. I called my manager and said I won't be able to come into work today since my manager is a family friend. She completely understood and got one of my coworkers to fill my shift. My mom is fine, although a little bit shaken up from the whole ordeal. She is managing. I've been thinking about the whole situation a lot, and it reminded me of this story she used to tell me when I was little when we still lived in the city with my dad. She would tell me this story frequently, and I always thought it was just don't answer the door for strangers type of story you tell little kids to teach them about stranger danger, but it might be true. Thinking about it now, she used to tell me about it when we were first in America. She shared this small apartment in California with her mom and her siblings. My grandma used to work 2 jobs to manage the bills, so she was at a laundromat during the day and a reception desk lady at night. One day, apparently my grandma came home early from working at the hotel, and she was at the door asking my mom to let her in. But before my mom could get to the door and unlock it and open it, she looked through the peephole and realized that the figure at the door pretending to be her mom was not her mom. It apparently had what my mom described as a blurred out face. My mom said she immediately backed away from the door to tell her brother, which is my uncle, the situation, and they hid under the covers for the rest of the night until my actual grandma came home. I'm alive, I'm with my mom, and things are getting all sorted out.